700 celebrities and entertainment industry professionals have signed an open letter to condemn the Hamas attacks and support Israel. Some of them are people we've already talked about who've made statements, like Gal Gadot, Jamie Lee Curtis, Howie Mandel, Mark Hamill. And it says that they are writing this open letter condemning Hamas, calling for a return of hostages with organization Creative Community for Peace in support of Israel. It calls for the entertainment community to speak out forcefully against Hamas, to support Israel, and to refrain from sharing misinformation about the war, and do whatever is in their power to urge the terrorist organization to return innocent hostages to their families. Open letters don't do anything.
No, they don't.
So what is the point, is my first question. I mean, we already talked about an open letter that was about something less controversial, which was the book bans of sexually explicit LGBT books in school libraries.
Yeah.
That's something like someone like Ariana Grande can sign her name on, her manager can do it for her, that she'll be universally praised for it. But I mean, as far as I've seen so far, every celebrity that's made a statement in support of Israel is getting a lot of flack right now.
Yeah. Also, like, the idea that they're going to be able to, like, differentiate what the misinformation is hilarious, given that really in the digital age, it's all a house of cards anyway, and it really is propaganda coming from all sides at all times. And these are people that are not, like I said the other day, I don't go to celebrities for their takes on geopolitics. We talk about it here, but it really is more on you, the viewer. If you're going to Ariana Grande about her takes on gender politics, or if you're going to
Noah Schnapp of Stranger Things
for his opinion
geopolitical
on
takes,
what's going on with Israel and Palestine.
Yeah.
But it does raise a bunch of interesting questions about what it means to be a mainstream celebrity now, because for the last 7 years, it's been very easy to figure out what your opinion is supposed to be if you're part of the mainstream establishment, right? It's the media says we need to support this. Let's support this. This is one of those cases where they did not have such an easy path to figuring out what was the socially acceptable stance to take on something like this. And they can't really escape it, because part of their brand has to be, I never miss a stance, as Ryan Long says. And
I'm always on the right side of history.
When you've spent the last 7 years demonizing half the country and being very vocal about like how you feel about people that disagree with you, that makes it a lot more precarious to have a stance on something. If you're more open-minded and willing to hear multiple perspectives, and you don't demonize people for thinking differently than you, it's a lot less scary to share your opinions, because you understand that the way you see the world will not necessarily always be the way that someone else does. But when you play opinions on geopolitics as a zero-sum game and you're in the public eye, that's not exactly an easy road to follow.
Their celebrity is their weapon, they think. They think I'm a celebrity, my opinion matters, and whatever I say goes. And they've been built up in a world where that generally is the case, where they're always on the right side because they're given the talking points of what to say, and that's what they say, and they're always right. And I think that they get to a point where it's just like, we can do no wrong. And so I can do whatever I want. And it's just like, when you talk out both sides of your mouth, like, we're normal people here. We see you. And it's just, it really, to me, it just makes me more feel like they're looking down at me from an ivory tower almost, and they're like, here's what I decree. It's like, nah, I don't really care what you think,
But they're not used to that. They're used to people deferring to them.
The same people that are dunking on Noah Schnapp for talking about geopolitics when he's in his penthouse in LA are the ones that probably praised him and other celebrities for posting the black square. But they don't see the conflict there. They're very entrenched in cognitive dissonance.
There's a comment here from Aaron Howell who says, I'm not concerned with celebrities talking politics. They're walking billboards. They usually get paid to say that stuff. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
That when your opinion is for sale and you carry large influence because you have followings in the millions, or at least the hundreds of thousands, you sway public opinion very, very easily in your favor. And that each person you reach out to is an individual who at one point was a blank slate recipient of information on that topic who is no longer a blank slate.
And they target the kids so much for that reason.
That's why TikTok is so important
it's so
to them.
manipulable. And that's why when I moved to Tennessee and stuff, there were some things happening in Tennessee that I was not happy with because I moved from Philly for a reason. You know, I wanted to be in a different environment. And so when I went and started talking to the city council about this stuff, like I told them, I said, you know, you've been like comfortably conservative here for decades and nothing's ever changed. And now things are starting to change, and you have to understand they're targeting your children because they had the long game in mind. So they're going to say, you know, let's go for the 10-year-old because in 10 years, that 10-year-old's going to be 20 years old and they're going to be making decisions in this world, making votes and stuff like that. They play the long game all the time. And that's just a key example over here.
Now Nashville is taking all of Tennessee hostage.
I'm telling you, like Nashville is crazy.
But big cities always do that, right?
Yes.
That's like I'm from Minnesota, where and remember, I still consider myself to be very much fairly liberal, but the center of Minnesota, the Twin Cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul are liberal cities. The outskirts are all just, you know, they're generally, it's purple, if not, you know, red on the outside, because that's where all the suburbs are, where the people who, you know, work for a living, and there's a lot of country out that way. So it's a conservative outside, you know, with a very, very kind of very like focused liberal city, you know, two cities right next to each other. And I think that's what's happening. And like a lot of people said, California's like that. There's plenty of red in California. It's just that the big cities are the ones where all the power is located.
Yeah, it's
right. And for things like this, I just I do caution people to just dismiss what they say, because they are going to reach a lot of people. Like you said, the people that they reach are generally, if you're looking to follow a celebrity and because you like what they do rather than critically like we do for work, you know, if you're not looking into what they say, it's very easy. And a lot of these celebrities are getting caught. Justin Bieber posted a picture saying pray for Israel, and it was a picture of Palestinian land, and he had to delete the post. They're not news reporters. Actually, never mind. The news reporters are usually worse. So, you know, what do I know? But yeah, you can't look to them for this type of information, but people do.
Yeah.
Right?
J.K. Rowling also made a statement. Her tweet says, "We said never again. The UK was a safe haven. Now, after the biggest massacre of Jews since the Holocaust, British Jewish children are being advised to hide their identities as they walk to school for their own safety. There should be mass outrage that this is necessary." She's, of course, not going to outwardly recognize the reason why Jews might be in danger in the UK, mass immigration. But
didn't she get in trouble recently for something?
She's always in trouble.
she's been in trouble for like 5 years.
Yeah.
She's in a perpetual state of trouble.
And has enough money where it doesn't affect her. So.
Yeah. My wife, she's all, you know, into the Hollywood.
She's right on one singular issue.
Yes.
And a lot of right-wing people have made her into a kind of avatar, like, oh, she's based. Like,
Yeah.
no, she's still.
Caution.
So let's watch this video that Ryan Long, because I sang this video's praises last night. If you want to know what a unique quandary that the celebrities of the country have found themselves in, they've got to deal with this now. So let's watch this video, because Ryan Long is in fact a genius.
It's been a few days now. I still haven't weighed in on Israel-Palestine. I honestly don't know who to post. Usually it's easy. BLM, bang. Ukraine, bang. COVID, bang. Hey, did you do your Israel-Palestine post yet? I've never missed a stand. So who'd you go with? I look at my phone, I see a lot of Republicans supporting Israel. So I go, maybe stay away from that. Then I see a lot of the people we've been calling Nazis supporting Palestine. But then get this, the people that we've been calling them Nazis with are happy Israel's getting attacked. Riddle me that. But there really is no easy answer here. Did you do your Israel-Palestine post yet? No. What does your manager think of that?
I'm retired.
Oh, you don't have representation right now? Obviously, I was on the front lines of getting mad at Kanye West when he was doing the anti-Semitism stuff. Everyone was thanking me for standing up for the Jewish community. So naturally, I'm seeing this happen. I go, okay, we're back with the Jews again. I see Kylie Jenner post for Israel. I think, okay, the word's in. Then boom, she's getting killed on every angle, so it's not Israel. So I start doing a bit more research. I'm seeing queers for Palestine. And generally, you want to be on the side of the queers. If you look at the things, you're not going to get in trouble if you go with what the queers are saying. Then Mia Khalifa, who we obviously support, is posting with the queers. And she's getting fired from her job. The whole reason I'm posting is to get in better standing with my job. And by the way, I started to see that your silence is noted post popping up, so we're running out of fucking time.
Your silence is noted.
I would stay out of it like I told you.
But if you kind of have to choose, which is sort of what a situation I feel like I find myself in. But you don't understand, I gotta post the support letting them. I know to you, it might be like, oh, who cares what he thinks. A buddy of mine booked a Geico commercial from his Ukraine TikToks. Feels like we like decolonizing. What is decolonize? Is that just like killing the people?
It's a difficult situation.
That's literally what I was saying, man. 'Cause normally it's pretty easy.
I don't know what the answer is.
This one's, I just want to post one of the flags and sort of be done with it. If I post Palestine, I'm getting yelled at if I post Israel. It's starting to feel like, if anything, I'm the victim here. I'm looking on the internet. I see Jews for Palestine. I kid you not. Also, I'm watching the parades. We're talking Times Square. Between me and you, when I see a bunch of brown people having a parade, I think it's a pretty safe bet to be on their side. Never failed me before. I mean, people are probably texting each other right now, wondering where my statement is. Israel, probably, right? Yeah. For me, it's a little more complicated. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if I look at who's getting censored, that's a good place to look. Like, follow the YouTube warnings. And then I'm looking at UN women. I'm thinking, you know, follow the SNIS. Whatever the women say is usually pretty good. They're just posting random shit that has nothing to do with it. Trans lesbians or lesbians. Can I just go with that? Just like a random blanket post. Just be like, hey, lesbos, just so you know, lesbos with dongs are still lesbos. Stop avoiding the dong lesbos. I can't. I feel like it's the wrong move. You going Israel or Palestine, you thinking?
No English.
Oldest trick in the book, my friend. I wish I could do the same. Okay, so like if Native people in America took down some girls at Coachella, I'd probably be like with the natives against me, right? Like that seems right. I can talk to my representation for you. Palestine's got to have Jewish people there, right? Like Palestine, isn't that? Am I being messed with here?
Ryan Long is a genius, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Long is a genius.
That's wild.
But it is messy. It is
Yeah.
a messy world to live in, but we don't live in a world that wants to deal with messy situations with nuance. We live in a world that wants to deal with messy situations with like 5-word slogans on billboards,
Yeah.
right? On holding up a sign. And that's not really how you can do it this one, because here in America, it's just the media sends you your marching orders and you go with that, and you can't really do that right now.
I was just getting ready to come up here yesterday, and I was thinking about all this, and I was like, I haven't done one post about this, and I wonder if people are judging me for it. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's just like I make a habit of not posting about these world events, especially in real time, because it's just like it's too toxic. You
But
know?
if they are judging you for that, they're stupid because you're not a politician.
I'm not a politician,
you know?
but because like you have followers and they love what you guys do. And they want to know what you think. And
That
so,
is interesting,
you know,
right? Like you'll have people reach out to you about stuff that you know nothing about, and they're like, "What's your take on this?" I'm like, "Bro, you don't want
Trust
to."
me, absolutely no one has asked me for my take on Israel-Palestine. Thank God for that.
And not for me either. And that's like I don't want like I'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna court that
You
audience.
know what I would do though? I'd be like, check the episode tomorrow, and then I'd just keep saying that every day. I'd be like, yeah, I got a deep take on it. Just tune into Pop Culture Crisis tomorrow for my takes on the actual conflict.
all of
Right?
a sudden you got like 50,000 people watching live, and they're like, when is he going to
Like,
say it?
And then it's just like, oh, guys, sorry. Like my dog ate my speech. I got to come back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow with my thoughts on it. I really want to make sure that it's nuanced, it's detailed, and then just lead them on for like a week until they finally give up because they're just like, look, it's not in the news anymore. I don't know if I care anymore what's going on. But I wouldn't want to be a mainstream celebrity right now. I think for a lot, but this isn't just them, right? It's like if you have a Twitter, X, formerly Twitter, as they say, Twix, you kind of are, then people expect to have your opinion on these things, and not everyone's going to. Like there's that meme that always goes around where people talk about it whenever something like this happens. Like everybody who was an issue like an expert on gender issues last week is now a foreign policy expert, right? Like I aspire to not be an expert on anything ever. Like I don't want to be an expert on
No,
anything.
give it time. Like, give it a month or probably less than that, and this will all be a distant memory, and they'll be making statements about something else.
Yeah, like it's like it really is. Maybe the most genius meme in the last couple of years has been the "I support the current thing."
I guess
meme,
the current
'cause this
thing
kind of
before
breaks
this
it.
was
kind
the
of breaks
SAG
it.
and Writers Guild strikes.
I think it was still Ukraine to most people.
And
Yeah.
Ukraine. What else?
But this story kind of breaks that for the
Yeah.
celebrities. They can't just be "I support the current thing" because there is people on both sides telling them that what they are
Shame on
saying
you.
is the
Yeah.
current thing, and they should feel bad about it. And they have a unique fear because look, it can affect their work even more than the average person. For some of these people, if they get it wrong, then suddenly somebody says no, that was the wrong answer. You're never going to be hired again because you supported the wrong side on this, whatever your opinion of the wrong side is. It's what happens when you're a celebrity in that your opinions are no longer your own, they're for sale.
Yeah.
And that's a scary world to live in.
And I was telling you guys earlier about that story where like I was tagged in something on Twitter and it was just a picture, it was a still shot of somebody laying on the ground, a woman standing there and somebody else stomping the person. But the image was all like the person stomping was like a shadow. And so that's why they tagged me like paranormal, right? And so I commented, I'm like, I don't know what this is. I never saw this as a video. What's the story behind it? And the comments underneath it and stuff, like somebody went to my profile and they saw on my header image said Merkel Media. And they're like, and he says media. I'm like, hey, idiot. Like there's more to media than news and current events and your opinion on the world events. Like, and I was just like, I just had a, Twix is what you said.
That's what I like Twix.
I unplugged so much from that because it's just like I don't know how to identify in that space. So
also it's like I guess it's kind of like going to LeBron James for your news information.
Oh my gosh.
Or Stephen A. Smith is like, I thought you worked for ESPN. That's a media company.
Yeah.
Like a sports media company. It's different. Like I'm sorry, but for the average celebrity, they're like, look, I act, I read lines off of a page, and I go on set. I don't really know anything that's going on in the world.
They tell you to touch grass, but then when you actually do it, they hate on you for it.
Absolutely.
For not being up on the current thing.
Is there a, like, I can't think of an example, like, recently where this is the type of thing where the celebrities aired on the side. This is the first time I can remember them airing on the side of caution with their responses for a while. Normally, they're, like, on a lightning pace to see who can get out there first. Our hearts are with this person. Yeah. And a lot of them waited on this. And I think that that's because they have their agents telling them, like, look, just hold off. That whole thing is a slippery slope. There's a lot of reasons, and there's other people you could bring on the show to break it down. But I think there's a lot of psychological and underlying things in the Hollywood culture that makes them have to kind of be very confused as to which side they need to pick. Maybe because they're so used to putting up a front that they're never actually their true selves, right? You're never actually who you really are to the world.
Yeah.
You're constantly some type of weird facsimile of your personality, and who you are with your within your private life is so vastly different, because that's true of really any famous person who's smart enough to understand how to implement a social media manager and an agent, right? Is that they're going to get 15 to 20% of who you really are.
And this is all such a new thing. I mean, like for decades, you're a celebrity, you play a character on TV in a movie, and when you turn that off, it's off. But now we live in a world with digital media, and you have to be part of that to be, successful and stuff. So all of a sudden you have to project another image, and this image is now something that a director's not telling you what to project. You have to project the right image, and the pressure of that.
No wonder. I was just gonna say, no wonder anxiety is so high.
Oh my gosh.
And like antidepressant use is so high, and
These college students are getting assaulted with fear porn right now.
And celebrities they make a big deal of therapy. They love talking about going to therapy. Maybe that's why, because they have to sit there and worry 24/7. They're just constant anxiety.
I thought they hired other people to worry for them.
But even then you have to worry about so that person says the wrong thing. You're like, sorry, that was my social media manager that said that, not me. And then people are like, wait, so it's never been you that I've been talking to?
Why did Disney make a statement? Bob Iger made a statement and Disney's donated.
$20 one here from Brandon Rodriguez. Says, Tony Merkel on PCC, you going to be on IRL too? I emailed you in January about sharing my lucid dreaming astral projection experience with you on your show, and how those experiences ultimately brought me to becoming a Christian.
Awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's crazy
I guess
that
your
somebody
wife
recognizes me.
saw the email.
She's like, I don't want to do nothing with astral projection.
No, we're scheduling into February right now. So it's just, there's such a high demand to be on the show that it's a long process. And I don't really, I try not, I don't know how to say that without,
everyone just wants to be on my
I know, exactly.
It's
one of those things where I'm still working on how do you say the truth without sounding arrogant. It's not arrogant. It's just really what it is. And so when people say such things, and thank you for commenting, it's a really long time. It just takes a while.
I did a book report on lucid dreaming when I was in the 5th grade.
Yeah.
I still remember that.
Lucid dreaming is part of the biggest story I've ever worked on in my life that hasn't been released yet. It is insane.
Crazy?
Oh, it is going to be. I'm telling you right now, if you ever have me back. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I'll have a story that it changes everybody's lives forever. It's wild.
So what did Disney say?
Well, Disney donated $2 million to Israel humanitarian relief, and then Bob Iger put out a statement. I mean, the statement is just as nebulous as all the other ones, so I'm not even going to repeat it. But what interest does Disney have in getting involved in this? When, like, being involved in politics, even just locally, has burned them in the past.
You're still expected to make a statement in these types of things. And they waited long
bizarre.
enough until they had the clear side of who they were supposed to support
Yeah.
here. Like they're not going to hire any of the weird college kids supporting Hamas. They're not. Well, that was the
Yeah.
thing they were talking about yesterday. Like a bunch of kids at college. First of all, there was this story about like college kids who got extra credit for going to like a pro Hamas, like a pro Palestine rally from their teacher, and it was like a gender studies teacher. But also like a bunch of kids signed like an open letter. There we go, open letters. You said open letters never work. This one did the opposite, where a bunch of kids signed a letter that was like pro Palestine or like pro Hamas or whatever, and they didn't realize, they didn't even really look at what they were signing.
Yeah.
And now CEOs are like, we're not going to hire you.
Yeah,
That's insane.
So I guarantee you, majority of those kids were freshmen. They haven't been properly brainwashed yet. Give until they're seniors, this happens, they'll make the right decisions.
Like, because it's like there's no good answer here. You're either like, to them, you're either evil or you're stupid.
Yeah.
You're either evil and you supported blatant terrorism, or you're stupid and you signed something and put your name behind something that you didn't actually read into, which isn't good either. These celebrities are now trying to avoid that right now. They're like, I do not want to put my name behind something that's going to get me in trouble for the rest of my life.
Right.
I wouldn't want to be a celebrity. I really wouldn't. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.